Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. Apologies for being a little bit late, about 3-4 minutes late. I was just getting things together with your questions and just wanting to get things in the right order. And oh my God, what a situation! What a situation we're in. Oh, look, someone says here, Barbara says, Hogarth's going to be late for his own wedding if he ever gets married. Yeah, sorry. You know what? The thing is, it's like when you're getting ready for a show, you have to do quite a lot of a mental and emotional kind of like preparation. And particularly now, everything is so ridiculous and so over the top and so overblown. It's like it's difficult, isn't it? You have to try and keep a calm, keep a calm center, keep a stable core within, as we live in these really tumultuous, kind of scary and also weird times. But even within all of this chaos, there are some positive factors as well, because we'll be talking about the guy Zohran. Was it Zohran? I forget his name, but the guy who won the primary to become the next New York mayor. But you can also see the reaction that is happening to him. It's just astonishing. So thank you for joining me, guys. Also, as well, I'll be telling you a bit more about my website and my retreat. Of course, here on the show, it's just us. I had to be very, very brief on the Hogelish we just done, because, of course, I have guests there. Of course, I've got Lena, Lady G, Sheila, and, of course, people that tune into that channel, may not necessarily be tuning in for me, whereas at least here I know that everyone is tuning in because you want to see the show. So much appreciated. And I'm just going to share with you quite a lot of growth recently. It's been such change. I'm going through what I always tell my clients about. It's called a nodal inversion. It's when you have Rahu on Ketu and Ketu on Rahu. And it happens every 9.25 years or so. Why? Because the nodes of the moon take 18.5 years to return back to any given position or sign in the chart. Yeah. So every 18.5 years, depending when you look at your chart where you're reading from, but when you look at the nodes, they will return to themselves every 18.5 years, as I said. But every 9.25 years, they're at the halfway point and they are opposite themselves but still on each other. Do you see? And that's why I call it the nodal inversion. And when that happens, your life flips. Yeah, your life flips. It's like the universe giving you an opportunity to take a big change in direction. Yeah, there are times in life where we might try and change direction, but there's a certain momentum that is going on in our life that we feel like we can't quite get out of, or there's things that are unresolved. When you have the nodal inversion, it gives you that opportunity to change, try something new. So I knew this was coming. And before the nodes change, before the nodes of the moon change, I normally get dreams around about 6 weeks before they change. And they show me what is coming. And they were showing me this rocky island in the sun, in the Mediterranean. Yeah, I'll let you into this little story here, because I don't often talk that much about my psychic stuff, but it really is a major thing in my life. So 6 weeks before the nodes change, they give me a vision, yeah, of what's going to be happening over the next 18 months, couple of years, yeah, what they've got in store for me. So I was seeing these rocky island, a rocky island in the Mediterranean, and I was looking at, and in the dream I was looking at the flora and fauna, and I was like, that looks like Greece. But at that stage, I was already planning to go to Greece, and the nodes always show me something new, something that is not part of my schedule. Anyway, I ended up bumping into my friend Nelliana very serendipitously. Of course, nothing happens by chance. We went for a drink, we caught up, she invited me to Ibiza, etc. And we've just been on this whole kind of journey. And of course, that rocky island in the Mediterranean, what turned out to be Ibiza. The second I landed on Ibiza, I was like, this is it. This is the dream, yeah? So I'll be sharing that with you guys. Let's see who's in today. So we have Vicky saying happy Friday. We have Cheryl Nash. We got Tobiah here saying hi, Hoagie. Hello, Tobiah. We've got Angela Locke is here. We've got Oxford Cat is here saying hello to everyone. What, look at that gorgeous Siamese. Oh my goodness. That is a very beautiful cat. And then we've got Diane Cady. Ooh, who's hugging a horse. Look at that. What a beautiful horse as well. That's a fabulous picture. Oh, wow. That's really, really cool. And we've got Deborah Lilith. I waited a long time for my tomatoes to turn red. So people are harvesting and all that stuff. Remember, I said, get your plant pots in. Grow your veg and your herbs, you know, all of that stuff, just to be ready for, you know, whatever this crazy orange man has coming next. Bunny Young is saying, I appreciate you, Hogarth. Thank you. I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. And Jerry's here. Hi, Hogarth. Good looking new profile pic. Thank you. I'm going to be reading out one of your questions soon as well, Jerry, as well. Let's see who else is in the chat. Who else is here? We have Lilith here, and everyone's having a good old chinwag. Truth be told. Truth be told is saying, at least Hogarth isn't as late as Don Lemon, who's always 15 minutes late, is he? That's outrageous. That's ridiculous. And truth be told is saying, love your new photo, Hogarth, gorgeous. And just thank you. And just so you know, that is not Photoshop, by the way. I repeat, not Photoshop. I have some fabulous imagery to be sharing with you guys. So check out my Instagram page. I'm going to do what it's called light painting. This is the technique. So no Photoshop in those photos. They are bona fide as they stand, and it's a long exposure. I had to stand very still, and the photographer just did magic, and it's stunning, and it's really, really beautiful. Okay, so let's dive in. I'll talk about the website in a minute, but let's get warmed up with a question that's come in from Oliveira. And she's wanting me to look at the Polish election again. So she said, please, can you check the recount of the Polish election and what outcome will be for Europe? And also if Wilders of Netherlands will win again, the new election coming up in September. Thank you. Well, actually, that's 3 questions, isn't it? So it's the Polish recount, what will be coming up for Europe, and if Wilders of the Netherlands will win again. So what I'll do is I'll do 3 card pull on each of those. Yeah, 3 card pull. Let me slurp my water. And I'll do this, and then we'll get, you know, in some positivity as well with showing the website, etc., so you can see what's going on with my nodal inversion, and hopefully some of you will be able to join me. It's very reasonable, actually, even if I do say so myself. No, but honestly, it's very reasonably priced. I've never been, and I've never wanted to be one of those people that then, I mean, it has its merits in terms of charging higher prices for things, but it really has to be worth it. Really has to be worth it. And retreats, obviously, you know, there can be very special things, but I think a lot of, you know, when you get to see these retreats and it's like $20,000 and $30,000 and stuff, that's just not my style. It's just not my style. Who knows, maybe in a far, far distant one day, but I like things to be reasonable, yeah, reasonably priced, so ordinary people can get the knowledge, the wisdom, and the experience. I mean, I've still got the group chat going from my Santa Fe, New Mexico retreat. Remember, that was in 2024, August of 2024, and we're all still talking, yeah, about politics and everything like that. So Poland, oh, look, did you see? Look at that. the Empress comes out, and we all know I associate this card with what? Russia. Yeah, so that's already a factor. Wow. Let's pull another one. So this is about recount of the Polish election, yeah? And then we'll look at what would the outcome be for Europe. So let's pull another 2 cards. Let's take a look. Did you see how it... here we go. All right, this is pretty clear. All right, so as you guys know, I was shuffling the deck, and this is one of my cards for Russia. In general, the Empress card is a very positive card. Yeah, it's a very positive card. It can talk about fertility, harvest in this picture as well. The Empress card is usually, the Empress is usually pregnant as well. I refer to this as the wealthiest card in the deck. So for me, the Empress, the Emperor, and the Magician, and of course the Ace of Pentacles, but those 3 characters are often the wealthiest in the deck. They have a lot of power and a lot of agency, but as you know, I associate this card with Russia, yeah? And you can see it's come out straight away. So obviously Russia is having an influence here in some shape or form in that recount. Also as well, one of the ministers was saying, oh, let's bomb NATO and let's bomb Poland as well while we're at it. If we look here, you see here, you've got the Temperance card. So there is a sense here of wanting to balance things, alchemy, trying to perhaps maybe neutralize something. So there is a kind of a recalibration going here. Maybe the numbers of the recount are being put a little bit this way, put a little bit that way. I wish I knew more about the story. It's a total cold read for me. I can only read what the cards say. But if I'm getting the Russia card and Temperance, that means what? Russia is trying to change the balance of power in Europe. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a psychic to know that, but look, we can see it here in the cards. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? My Russia card, Temperance, is about what? Balancing things, doing alchemy. And then when we look here, the outcome card is the 3 of Cups, which you guys know I refer to as stinky fish. So they're wanting to kind of like basically change the balance of Europe in a more kind of negative way, or a way that serves them better. And part as well of how they're going to do that is also to do with rhetoric as well, you know, or doing, you know, surprising things, unexpected things. Of course, they've got their stooge Donald Trump. So, you know, he's going to be helping them as usual. So let me just put here recount, and I put here Russia. Okay, let's go to the second part, which is what will be the outcome for Europe? Yeah, what will be the outcome for Europe? There's already questions. We've got questions on NATO. Some of you have observed the language and this kind of fawning to Trump, and I'm going to read out some of the dialogue that actually happened in my questions section on my YouTube channel, because I think that can be part of a wider discussion. All right, so what would be the outcome for Europe? From what I understand, as things stand, we do need to remember though that Poland is a deeply conservative country. It's still very Catholic. Yeah, it's still very Catholic. Let's not forget, it wasn't too long ago they had Pope John Paul II. The church has a huge influence, and conservative values have a big influence in Poland. So we need to remember as well that it's got that backdrop. Let's see. Okay, what's the outcome for Europe? 3 cards. Outcome for Europe, and this will probably let us know whether or how successful or not Putinska would be. Oh, how interesting! Wow! Oh. Wow! All right. It's just 3 cards, but whoa, this is saying a lot. You saw the previous cards that I pulled, yeah? Do you remember it was Stinky Fish, we had the Empress. Oh gosh, what was the Temperance, yeah? And you saw me shuffling the deck. Look what's come back. Here we have the High Priestess. Now, you know, when we're talking about politics and stuff like that, this can talk about machinations, secret deals, espionage, subtle forms of manipulation, things happening behind the scenes. So the face that Europe is presenting at the moment may not be what they are truly believing in. Yeah. Here as well, you can see she's also holding the Torah. So there is an element here. This could also speak about leadership potentially in Israel as well. Yeah, because when I was reading on this card and I was talking about Netanyahu, this card came up. So there is a whiff, there is a flavor in there. There are manipulations and secret deals and stuff happening in the background. Yeah. If we look here, Stinky Fish comes back. So there's a surprise. There is an unpleasant message. Let me have a slurp here. I saw an article which was saying that has NATO abandoned, or has Europe abandoned Ukraine? Yeah. And they were saying Ukraine is feeling out in the cold and certain people are feeling out in the cold. Yeah. An unpleasant message or a surprise or a turn of fate that may not necessarily be so favorable because, of course, all of the scheming and the meddling. And then look at the outcome card. Sugar. She's back. Russia. So what it seems to me is that there are some kind of covert, secret or indirect contacts going on. Maybe some quiet deals being done behind the scenes. Could this be that Europe is secretly talking with Russia? Yeah. And this is what the unpleasant message is that we may discover later on. Is there some kind of covert deal? Remember, I just have to say what I see. And isn't it remarkable? I shuffled the deck and you see how the cards come back. Whenever cards return from a previous reading, it emphasizes it. It's like it's underlying in it. It's like spirit is wanting us to say, you know what, there's actually something here. Yeah, there's something here. My goodness. Gosh, could that be a betrayal of Ukraine? Oh, that would be extremely serious, wouldn't it? That would be extremely serious. Let's do the last pull. Wilders of Netherlands. Will he potentially win again? There's a new election coming up in September in Netherlands, Holland. Wilders. What's going on with Wilders? God, I'm a little bit disturbed by those last three cards that came out. That was a bit worrying, wasn't it, folks? I wish it could have been more positive, but it's like, and you know what the Empress means in my deck, and you could see she came back. So it means Russia is having a strong influence, but it's not obvious. It's happening behind the scenes, probably, of course, being facilitated by Duck L'Orange. Not even probably, almost certainly. Gosh, these people. All right. Wilders. What's going to happen with him potentially in the Dutch election? And then to close off, we're going to talk, you know, about Bezos, the Bezos wedding. You know, just to lighten things up a little bit. How? Wow. Wow. Okay. This is very interesting. Here, Europe gets the star card. Now, you know, when I'm reading on politics, and whenever Duck L'Orange is in the room and is, you know, the smell of him is never far away. This is also my card that talks about Duck L'Orange, but I also refer to it as the narcissist. Yeah. No one else had that interpretation before. And, you know, many people may not necessarily agree with it, but just the context in which, for me, the card kept coming up. This is also a card of spotlight. Yeah. And this can talk about that. So this is showing that Trump here is a factor, but The star card is also a star of renewal, a card of renewal, rebirth. Like the universe has got you back, so it's actually a very positive card. And let's not forget as well, Europe also is what, a blue flag, or a blue background with yellow stars. So you can see this is literally talking about Europe, and the name of Europe comes from Europa, yeah, who's abducted and taken by Zeus. But here, so that's looking actually pretty positive, I would say, overall. If we look here, though, look, we've got the King of Pentacles. This is talking about money. This is talking about wealth, finance. Europe, as you know, I've said before, is kind of growing in economic strength. Yeah, there's a tug of war going on. You guys will know I said on my financial channel, that's also had a bit of a rebrand as well. So check that out. Check out Hogarth's Global Financial Astrology if you haven't done so yet. I need to upload a video soon, but I compared the USA with Europe, and I said, looking at the chart of Europe, which is Cancer rising, I could see the euro becoming stronger. They're even talking about openly about the euro potentially becoming the next global reserve currency. So do you see there's that financial element? See, a rebirth, renewal, a financial element. And then look here, they get the Wheel of Fortune, but the right way up. The Sphinx is at the top and the Devil is at the bottom. This means that this is an outcome that is more likely to go with good luck. Yeah, good luck is more likely. But it also shows as well, Europe is in a time of fate and destiny. These are very, very powerful cards. So could it be that it's kind of like Ukraine is sort of like thrown under the bus a bit for the sake of peace or something, or they're made to agree to something so that, you know, Europe can kind of like move on and kind of embrace its destiny in a way. But of course, Europe becoming the reserve currency is not necessarily very good for America either. So this is also talking about Duck L'Orange. Yeah, it could be his narcissism and his greed ultimately change, yeah, outcomes. Wow. All right, I hope you guys found that interesting. Let's see here. Angela's saying fascinating dreams. Thank you. I probably should talk about my dreams a bit more, actually. They really do come true. They really do. Let's someone saying here, good to be growing things in the garden, but don't forget the fairy lights. Yeah. And then Brent Travis is saying, hello, Hergy and everyone from New Orleans. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Jean saying, you are so handsome. Thank you. I'm feeling a bit tired, actually, to be honest. There are better days. I've not been getting much sleep. How's everyone been sleeping? I've not been getting up much sleep because all of this cray, it's just so intense, isn't it? You know, all of this stuff here. Someone's saying to me, how do you explain all this? Pluto is in Capricorn, as you know, I've been saying for years now. And I said the emphasis with Pluto in Capricorn, I said it's all going to be about oligarchy, big business, top-down structures influencing the governments, yeah? And this kind of energy of like this 1930s energy, but people are resisting it as well. So don't forget as well, protest, protest, protest. It works. Here we are. LP saying America here. Will our MAGA-dominated Supreme Court eventually be expanded where a Dem president is voted back in? When a Dem president is voted back in office, our South Carolina continues, our SC continues to regress America back to the 19th century. I would say yes if Trump gets impeached. Yeah, if Trump gets impeached, maybe. But recently, remember there was a vote we're going to be talking about. I don't want to get into ahead. Oh yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead, but we all saw what happened. Yeah, what is it? 128 Democrats voted not to impeach Trump, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've got that question coming up. Kristen says, should we be worried about former Doge boy, 19-year-old Edward Big Balls Choristi now working for Social Security Administration. Yes, of course we should. The key thing to look out for is Palantir. Yeah, Palantir in all of this stuff. Let's see. Yeah, someone's saying here. Kristen's saying I'm awake every other hour. Connie B saying I'm so tired. Yeah, me too. My sleep's just been dreadful. Sleep has been horrible, says Vicky. Yeah. Terrible time to sleep. Yeah. And then Laurie saying, I woke up so much through the night. I can't wait to have nights where I can sleep again. Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's just absolute madness. So let's look at, let's do one more question, and then I'm going to share my website with you. I'm doing my bit, guys. Yeah. Waving my flag and my astro charts for the light. Yeah. Bringing it, doing, obviously other people are doing as well. It's not me on my own, but I'm just making my contribution. We're all making our contribution. Thanks for being here, even having these conversations, these dialogues. It helps us, doesn't it, with our mental health? It helps us understand that we are not alone. That's what all the fascists want you to believe, that you're powerless, that you're on your own, but you're not. Yeah, so get together, march, protest, it works. All right, so let's look here. So NATO boss, oh, here, there's two questions on NATO. So Nick Mink says, NATO boss Rutte went on full-on ass-kissing mode for crusty dumpy. Yeah, Trump. Now messages he's sent have been leaked showing how cringeworthy they are. Will the other nations stick with him, or could there be plans to remove and replace someone with more balls? Well, Rutte has just been voted in. And of course, the candidate who came second, yeah, was the more far right candidate, yeah. So changing him may not necessarily be the best idea right now. And then Jerry says, world leaders fawning over Trump, especially Rutte, was sickening, she says. The world does not need the Trump regime. He's too stupid and there is no negotiating with him. When will these leaders figure this out and just turn their backs on him, she says. But then there was a reply, yeah? There was a reply, a couple of replies underneath, and I'm going to read the reply for you, yeah? So Fed Girl says, I think the leaders of NATO purposely complimented Trump to get him to go to the NATO summit and stay there, as in not leave early like he did at the G7. Yeah, I think that's a valid point. Mark Rutte said those things tongue-in-cheek, she says. He did send the private messages as well. He and others then know how to play Trump. It's very probable they acted this way because they don't want the US to withdraw from NATO. That is a very good point. I mean, just look at his reaction to being humiliated at the G7. He lies to go back because of Iran and Israel, then staged an attack because his ego was hurt. If things turned out badly for Trump at NATO, and because of his lashing out at people that he perceives as being against him, you don't think that his reaction wouldn't be to withdraw from NATO? Do we not know how this man-child is by now? Yeah. And then Fed Girl says, I know that they're playing him to appease him, but is that but then Gelding wrote back, she said, I know that they're trying to appease him, but at this point, why bother? At this point, I could care less if he withdraws from NATO, as he's already attacking US allies and citizens. Actually, it's probably in NATO, not in NATO's best interest. So you see the debate, yeah, the discussion. So when will these leaders figure this out and just turn their backs on him? We can ask. And will other nations stick with him, or could there be plans to remove and replace someone with more balls? Okay, so that's two questions. Let's see if, let's do the Rutte question. Will he be replaced? I think unlikely, but if we get quite shocking cards like, I don't know, if we get the Tower or the Four of Swords. Remember, the Four of Swords I associate with like kind of like a death, a political death, a death of a career. Let's just see. Rutte. 3 cards on him and then 5 on the others. Rutte. If he gets positive cards, then he'll probably stick around. All right. No, his cards are quite positive. Look, this is Ruta standing here there as the King of Wands, which makes sense because he is obviously the leader of Germany. Yeah, he's the new Chancellor of Germany. Wands deals with passion and it deals with entrepreneurship as well. So, you know, he's passionate about Europe. I think he wants to advocate for Europe. And I think he wants to negotiate in regards to Europe. If we see here, look, he gets the Ace of Cups, which is, you know, very much a yes card, a positive card, emotions overflowing. It also shows that he is very, very passionate, but it's a positive card. So I don't see him being replaced anytime soon. And then if we look here, we get the Queen of Swords. So this is talking about rationale, sanity, being astute, being intelligent. So I think he's playing a game to a certain extent with Donald. And that's how I would interpret that. But I don't see him being replaced anytime soon. Yeah, that would be extraordinarily controversial and very strange for Germany to do that. But anyway, but it was worth an ask though, wasn't it? All right. So when will these leaders figure this out and just turn their backs on him? The leaders have figured it out. Yeah. We can all, it's all in plain sight. Imagine what they're saying in private. Yeah. But because of the office of the President of the United States, and because of the amount that America contributes to NATO, they can't dismiss him out of hand. And it's just, it's like a clown jester who's got the nuclear codes. Do you know what I mean? You can only joke so much. In the end, you have to rely on flattery and all of this silly stuff. But let's see here. Let's see, when will these leaders figure this out and turn their backs on him? So let's look at this. What would it take leaders to turn their back on him? Turns their backs on Duck L'Orange. And thank you. There is 644 of you here with me right now. Thank you. Oh, well, look at this. Okay. Right now, at the moment, Europe is still trying to play a balancing act with Duck L'Orange. He's imposed tariffs, remember 20% tariffs and this, that, and the other, all sorts of stuff he's thrown at Europe. But of course, they don't want him to pull out of NATO. If America pulls out of NATO, his game, set, and match is over. Yeah, pretty much. The legitimacy of the whole thing will take a severe blow. Europe could maybe boost it up. And he also was able to get all of the NATO members to boost their defense spending by 5 to 5%. I think Spain abstained, yeah? And he kind of cussed them out because of it. But that's a lot. 5% is a lot of a budget, yeah? Anyway, so look, they're trying to play the balancing act. They're trying to play the alchemy. They understand that Trump is dangerous, but they have to keep flattering him as well. However, look at this. There does come a point where they will walk away. There does come a point where they will walk away from Duck L'Orange. And I think that's when it's to do with the world in general. I mean, he's already put the world in peril, but I think it's going to have to take some, you know, major global event. I mean, obviously we have him bombing Iran, which turned out to be quite impotent. Like they said, a lot of the facilities are still there. And of course, like I said, look, we need to separate governments from people. The Persian people are incredible people, amazing culture. The regime, horrible, but it still doesn't give the right just to bomb another country unilaterally. Iran smelt this coming, and they said they moved their uranium out back in March. So they didn't even get the stuff that they wanted anyway. It's so ridiculous. But anyway, it depends on global events. Yeah, I think if Trump keeps continuing to destabilize the world, and this can also talk about the imports and exports. If his tariffs really begin to damage, then they're going to turn against him. They're trying to preserve their own status and their own livelihoods. Yeah, these leaders, they're trying to save face. You see, they're trying to hold on in the face of these global winds. But look, then the judgment call comes at a certain point. So it will just reach a point where it's just untenable. I think Europe is still trying to look after its finances. Yeah, it's feeling vulnerable, but maybe when it feels economically stronger, that is when things could change. Also, as well, I should let you know that Germany and Italy are at the advanced stages of talking about getting their gold back out of the vaults in New York. Yeah, they're basically saying they want their gold back. And when we start seeing things like that, that could be the major sign. Yeah. All right. So answer those questions there. So we've done that. We've done that. We're going to go into question number 3, which is going to be about a Canadian citizen. Yeah. But before that, let me share my website with you. Indulge me, dear folks, indulge me. All right, so let's do present. Let's do share screen. When I was doing the scroll through on the pictures the other day, it wasn't showing. So I'll just show you the most basic, the main things. So if we look here, so welcome everyone. This is my new website. Here is my logo over here. Nick Minks, you were asking me about this. Now, I designed this back in 2018, actually, and I've always wanted to use it. What does it mean? You can see here it is the letter H for Hogarth, obviously. But you see here the bar going across is actually curved. And that can represent a sunrise. Yeah, this was also the wings are to honor the god Hermes, yeah, who is the god of communication, one of my favorite Greek gods. And the sunrise is also talking about the god Apollo as well, who is the god of the arts, yeah, arts, culture, etc. And you see here where the 2 feet are tied together, that is in the symbol of the 8 or the infinity. So this is talking about spirituality, enlightenment, arts, culture, all together in one, yeah, all together in one to kind of elevate, lift. The wings are about soaring to new heights, yeah. And anyway, so I wasn't expecting to get that deep on it, but anyway, there we go. So this is my new website here. So hogarthglobalastrology.com. Many of you will know this already. So this, you see this big blaze of light here? Again, no Photoshop. That actually happened. The photographer captured that moment, which is great. So you're seeing me here in all of my robes, yeah, my retreat robes. I've got some fabulous clothing, you know, lined up. I've really gone for some really stuff that I really like. Normally I just wear my sports t-shirts in everyday life, but you know, in the retreat is going to be special. You know, we're all going to be together learning about Vedic astrology and how planets are people and our lives, you know, health, wealth, career, relationships, marriage, lack of marriage, why, you know, why maybe relationships haven't happened and what you can do about it. Yeah. So if we look here, this is the blurb talking about, you know, giving you a little bit of my background and stuff, which many of you will know already. There's a picture here. These are the things, of course, that I help with. And then, of course, you know, I do the tarot as well as part of my consultations. And here, of course, is my Ibiza page just there. So just to show you here, I'll just do this. And then, so you can see, for those that are curious, these are my consultations. Many of you have had consultations with me: astrocartography, life path and business, relationships, fate and destiny, love, yeah, love, relationship compatibility, and of course all the tarot stuff. Let's go back, and then let me just show you here again. No Photoshop with this, guys, no Photoshop. So if I do this, let me do the stop share and then make sure that I share the correct page with you. Let's do share screen. I think it's this one. Yes. So I'm going to share here. So this is my retreat page. I'm so glad to be sharing this with you guys. My God, it's been bubbling away for months. So here we are, Neo-Vedic Astrology Retreat. You can see here it is the 7th to the 10th of November 2025. There are even cheaper packages than this. If you want the sofa bed, you can get it for 1,700. And this is euro, by the way, euro. So you can visit this page. You can download the brochure if you guys, if anyone that is interested. It's going to be maximum for 17 people. So I want it to be intimate. Yeah, intimate. You get your breakfast and your evening meals included. Ensuite bathrooms and everything, all of that kind of stuff. And there's payment plans as well. I should also let you know as well, you can get the early bird price here. Look, doing my big push here. But if you type in Ibiza, all uppercase and 10 without a space, that gets you 10% off. That's as a reward for booking early. So you can see here the different rooms, how it's described. Here, day 1, 7th of November, and the theme is Greek gods and goddesses. So I've been encouraging people to dress up as their favorite Greek god or goddess, but also as well, depending on the person's chart. And then after we've done our welcome stuff, we come down to dinner as our god and goddess, and people have to guess. Yeah, it's part of the networking. People have to guess what Greek god or goddess you are. And then we also do that as well for the closing ceremony. Yeah, so you can see here, this is the location where it is in Ibiza. There's a bit of blurb there about me, and then you can see you've got more pages here where you can look at the photographs. When I was doing it last time, it wasn't showing the photographs. So let me do stop share again, and then see if I can do it as, if I can just show you. Let's see if it's gonna show up. Let's do that. Yeah, it seems like it's sharing this time. So hopefully you can see this. Yes, c'est moi. So you can see it's nestled in the hills. I'm hoping you can see this, nestled in the hills of Ibiza. There's yoga, breath work, meditation, ecstatic dance for those that are, feel mobile enough for that. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can see this beautiful vista here. Can you see it's all out there up in the hills of Ibiza? So spiritual, so beautiful. This here, in case you can't see it, this is, people that were gathered. I gave a talk at Agua Madeira teaching people about Vedic astrology. They were stunned. They were like, so you mean I'm actually an Aries? Or they were like, do you mean I'm actually a Pisces? I always thought I was an Aries. These are the grounds, the food as well. I don't know. These are the rooms. I don't know if this stuff is showing. I hope it is showing. These are the rooms here. You can see the beautiful bathrooms, all 5-star, amazing food. Here, the food is grown at the hotel. Yeah, that's the kitchen, and they use like coals and open fire. Oh, it makes the food taste exquisite. This is more of the stuff. I hope you guys can see this. And again, more people that were there with me at the retreat. I hope you can see this stuff. I'm scrolling through very quickly. There we are, a bit of light photography there. And this is Esvedra, where we're going to have the closing ceremony, not on the mountain viewing, and we're going to have our closing ceremony there with the Greeks and Greek gods and goddesses theme again. So you can either wear the same costume again or outfit again, or have another one. And there we are. That's me there. Blah, 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 blah. So I hope you guys found that interesting. I hope all those bits and bobs showed as I was sharing with you, but that gives you an idea. So Hogarth Global Astrology, check that out. And Ibiza 10, all in capital, uppercase, and then 10, 10, all in, and that will get you 10% off. Yeah. Thank you so much here. Kia's giving me a donation. Defending democracy and resisting on a local level. Absolutely. let's see here. Raymond has always got a sage thing to say. Do not hold the delusion that your advancement is accomplished by crushing others. Yes. Marcus Tullius Cicero. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an illusion. And then Connie B saying it's been like this since 2015. What the hell? 10 years of abuse by them horrible people. Willow going down. Yes. And then Carly's saying if they impeach the duck, then JD can bring him back as VP and give him the presidency. They say JD was worse than a duck. This is true. This is true. But you also have to be seen to be fighting. Yeah. You have to fight as well. And the way that the Democratic Party has reacted to this recent victory of this young man has really not filled me with confidence. Yeah. Anyway, right. So let's go to the next question. It's number 3, wasn't it? All right. So Jerry has said, recently a Canadian citizen with dual citizenship became the 10th person to die while in ICE custody. Do the cards show what happened and if there will be any consequences? Wow. All right, let's take a look. How are we doing on time? Okay, blitz through. That's terrible, isn't it? So this is a dual citizenship. So dual with American, I imagine, Canadian and American, perhaps. Let's see here, what happened? It's just awful, isn't it? It's just madness. But hold on to the light, people. Yeah, hold on to the light. Keep doing positive things. Keep talking with each. Oh gosh, this is really not good. Wow, wow. All right. If we look here, look, the devil has shown up. So it shows that this was corrupt. Yeah, it was corrupt. It was sadistic. Just wicked people in ICE, basically. Yeah, they're not proper agents. We know this. They're all infiltrated with, you know, Proud Boys and this, that, and the other. But yeah, we can see what happened was evil. It was not good. Yeah, no good intention. It was malicious and likely deliberate. We see here in the obstacle position, we have the justice card, but this is also showing when in opposition can be reversed, particularly if the first card is negative, which the devil definitely is. So this is a lack of justice and accountability. Yeah, a lack of justice and accountability here. Oh dear. If we look, we've got the Knight of Swords. So this shows it was an act of aggression. I don't know if it was some blunt instrument blow to the head or strangulation or something like that, or sharp weapon. Yeah, this could also be talking about a weapon of some kind, or maybe they were just violently attacked. Yeah, but that is what this would talk about. Oh dear, this is dreadful. If we look here, we've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is also talking about money and legacy and establishment. Yeah, so there's an element here where, you know, they're being paid to kind of do this stuff. Yeah, by what? The establishment, or, you know, certainly the GOP. But if we look here, though, we do have the world cards. So it's like the world is watching. Yeah, the world is watching all of this and making its judgment. I don't know how much it's been reported on legacy media, TV, news and stuff, but like tourist numbers are way down. Apparently Las Vegas has just said that in the last few months their bookings have gone down by over 70%. I've seen the footage myself that people have been sharing, and it's empty airports. I mean, like 10-15 people just like moseying about, and I've seen several accounts, several people sharing the same thing. What is it? Texas, some Texas farms had to shut because, oh, surprise, they deported, you know, the ICE people literally went onto the farms, raided the farms. So, I mean, the thing is that it affects everyone. Everyone has to eat food. But what it can mean is it can mean the blue states that produce food. So think of California, for example, will become even more powerful and even more influential, which is why Dr. Orange is trying to, you know, yeah, with the help of the Supreme Court, you know, doing their rubbish. In fact, let's read on the Supreme Court now. Nick Mink says the Supreme Court rules on birthright citizenship, giving Supreme Court rules. So they've basically said he can basically abolish birthright citizenship for now till it comes back to them. That's from what I understand. Supreme Court rules on birthright citizenship, giving Krusty free reign to start clearing more deportations. Is this the end of America being the land of the free? Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? Let's see what the cards bring up. But you see how the Supreme Court, sometimes they resist, and then sometimes they enable him. You know, saying basically, I think in the states that have already basically said that they're happy to end birthright citizenship, essentially his executive order can go ahead in those states. And one of the things, I've said it before, and I know it might be a bit sinister, it might be a bit worrying, but I really do see the United States breaking up at some point. I just don't see how this is sustainable. First, I thought it would be the red states that would go, but I'm increasingly believing it will be the blue states that will go first. And I know people will say to me, that's not possible, that's never going to happen. But how is this sustainable? Yeah. And particularly as well, once certain blue states start getting their own trade deals and stuff, it will be happening in all but name. And I see a lot of refugees. I've been shown that red states will literally have American refugees. Do you see what I mean? They'll be trying to go to the blue states, but they won't be able to get in. I've had visions that they're gonna need work permits. Like in the future, you might need work permits to work in certain states. You won't just be able to, you know, be in Texas and then work in California anymore, or go to California and then go to the Midwest and work, or go to the South and then expect to be able to work in the North. That's what I was shown, and I've not seen anything yet. Yeah, I know that's a bit worrying, but this is what I've seen psychically. I saw this years ago. All right. Citizenship. Freedom in America. All right, let's see what's going on. This is actually quite nuanced, these cards. What's the question? Is this the end of America being the land of the free? No, not quite. Not quite. Here we've got the, oh wow, 700 of you now. Just over. We've got the Ace of Cups here, which is normally a very positive card. It has a lot to do with emotions. Is it the end of America being the land of the free? No, not quite, but there is a lot of emotion there. However, look at the obstacle card. This is going to require tenacity. Yeah, this is the card of feeling embattled. So many Americans are feeling embattled just to live their everyday lives. Yeah, this is like the average American trying to live their everyday life. Yeah, and it's a struggle. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. However, if we look, we see the sun is out here. The sun can literally deal with hot places. So I think this is going to be talking also as well about global warming, things heating up. But let's not forget, this is enlightenment. This is full disclosure. I think we're all big. Well, I saw this stuff anyway, but more and more people are becoming aware. And you see on this theme of oligarchy, this is a big reason why, what's his name? Zohran, I think his name is Zohran, won that primary, defeating Cuomo. Yeah, even though they threw millions at the campaign, because people are starting to wake up. Yeah, people are starting to wake up. They're starting to see the light. However, it's going to be hard work. It's still going to be hard work, because these billionaires have divided people so much, changing the algorithms. Already they're trying to work out ways that they can undermine this guy. It's just awful, nakedly. But then if you look here, the outcome card is the Hermit. So this is about reflection, about going within. This is about everyday Americans literally asking themselves deep, deep existential questions about what they want their country to be like. This guy winning the primary is a positive, but they're going to try their best. Literally, Laura Ingraham, I saw a clip where she was on Fox News calling the billionaires to action, saying, you need to band together to get rid of this guy. People calling him a terrorist, a jihadist, a this, a that. It's just ridiculous, guys, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. But like I said, Pluto is in Capricorn. Corporations getting involved in politics, in government, oligarchy, but now it's naked. Yeah, now we can all see it. Yeah, the disclosure is there. We can all see it now. Wow. All right, so it's not quite the end of freedom in America, but it's gonna be a slog. Yeah, it's gonna be a slog. All right, now I've done that one. Let's move to the next. Yeah, that was number 4, so now it's number 5. So here we are. So Nick Mink said a load of Dems voted against impeachment of Trump over the Iran strikes. I mean, if there was one thing that you could impeach him for, it certainly was that one. Can they be trusted to do what is right, or do the cards show if these are really fake Dems put in to bolster the GOP? Right. And I put here, look, there's corruption in terms of warmongering and wanting to maintain the status quo. But let's see. Now, look, it was a lot. It was 128, guys, 128. I can see about the arguments where they're like, well, we don't want J.D. Vance to get in, etc. But really, according to some polls, the Democrats have a 14% approval rating, and people just want to see some fight. Yeah, people want to see some fight. The reason why this guy did so well, is I think it's Zohran, isn't it? Did so well, is because he's standing up for ordinary people. All the corporate Dems have to do is do the same, but they won't. Yeah, because their allegiances are elsewhere. Anyway, you know how passionately I feel about this. Sort of Vaseline Dems, as I sometimes refer to them. And there's even one Democrat was saying, oh, he could be a jihadist. And it's like, oh, F off. Like, really? Like, F off. They're talking about, one Republican is talking about revoking his citizenship. So you can have Elon Musk come in and do all of his BS, and a guy wins a primary, and now they're talking about revoking his citizenship. It's just, it is ridiculous. Yeah, where, you know, American politics is now, and it's so racist, so nakedly racist. It's just really, everyone is just tearing the arse out of this, as you can imagine, on independent media, while it's like, yeah, in Main Street. Ridiculous. Anyway, calm down, Hoagie, calm down. Right, what the gosh should do? Right, let's just see what is the energy of these Dems that do not like this guy who's just won. What's their motivation? What are their tactics? Yeah, how do they really feel about this guy winning? They don't seem to be happy. Well. Isn't this interesting? Look at this. Here we get the this is the Hanged Man, but it's in reverse. Yeah, normally it's this way. When it's this way, this can talk about it's not a fast card, obviously, because he's hung up, but this can talk about a change of perspective. Yeah, enlightenment to an extent. You see, this is why he's got his light around his head. He could easily get himself free from this position. Only one leg is there. So when it's the right way up, it can also talk about contemplation, reflecting, needing to take a breath. However, when it's reversed, it can mean being stuck or set in one's ways. Literally, can mean to literally be stuck. There is no enlightenment here. This character is stuck and doesn't want to move on, doesn't want to change. Wow. And I don't normally get reversals. I went through this deck earlier today and turned all the cards the right way around. So the fact that this has come out reversed, this is spirit really talking strongly. We look here, there's machinations. Yeah, there is things that are hidden by moonlight. Again, it's the moon card is similar connotations to like the priestess card, because remember the moon features strongly in both cards. This is nothing is clear by moonlight. This is talking about secret agendas. This is talking about an internal struggle between the domesticated wolf and the wild wolf in between. So there is an element here of the domesticated wanting to maintain the status quo, and also the element within the Democrats that wants to be wilder, more free. But if we look here, the lobster is coming out. This is talking about something quirky, something dark coming out of the subconscious. So I think we're seeing a lot of it's unfortunate how, not all, but how some Dems are behaving. Yeah, let's just put it that way. I don't want to be too, you know, because I know a lot of people are Democrat who watch this channel. Anyway, if we look here, for them, it's all about the, you know, they see like they're thinking how they're going to get back into the White House. Yeah, but they're not wanting to change the tactics. Do you see? They want to get back into the White House. And I think they're hoping that all the lunacy, all of the crazy will get them what they want. Yeah. However, there's a world card here. So the world card comes back again. And this is talking, the world is watching, like no one is fooled by this. Yeah, abroad. We can all see what's going on. We all watch the news. But the world also talks about cycles, a great cycle coming to an end. I'm thinking that like this is time for the Democrats to change. They have to change. They need to support this young energy that is coming through, the AOCs, and obviously Bernie Sanders is doing his best. He's like the birth mother of all of this. He's been fighting so hard, so long. But we see how there are policies that ordinary Americans want. This is why he won his primary. Yeah, but a cycle, a great cycle, has to come to an end. You know, these old outdated ideas have to make way for the new, and look, they have to come with a new message. But there's a seductive message. They need to come with a message that's seductive, that people can get behind. Like this guy, he was talking about free buses, you know, for workers, rent controls, some of the shops being run by the state, and everyone's going like this is some novel cuckoo thing. Apparently they've got lots of this happening in different states all over America already. State-run liquor stores, state-run this, state-run that. This guy is not talking about stuff from planet Mars. It's very reasonable stuff, but they're going to have to change the messaging. Yeah, it needs to. It's there. All the ingredients are there, but there are some that are stuck in their ways. They refuse to change. And that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. So I hope that's answered the question there. Oh gosh, I realized I've just gone over. All right, let's just see here. Oh, let's take a quick look at this crazy wedding. Yeah, Jeff Bezos, and we'll just read what the energy on that is. So I'm going to share my screen again. There's no questions on it, but I'm just going to share screen just to end on something a little bit. Let's see here. Is this it? Yeah, I'm going to share this with you. So this is US Today Entertainment. Again, I don't know these people's political affiliations. I'm just sharing what I see out there. So Kim Kardashian, Oprah, stars in Venice for Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding. So here she is here, kind of looking like a lampshade. Don't you think? I mean, I'm sure it cost an absolute fortune, but that looks a little bit like a lampshade cover, doesn't it? Very cinched in at the waist. I'm sure she had plenty of people tugging from behind. There's Oprah, you know, there at that. I mean, Oprah, Jeff Bezos. Is that a good combo? Anyway, I'll leave that up to you. We've got Orlando Bloom. Kim in some Python print stuff. Obviously, she's got the cleavage out. I'm surprised she's not actually put some diamonds there, but maybe she didn't want to outshine too much. Who's that? Tom Brady, American football player, isn't it? Who's this? Is that Chloe? Is that Chloe Kardashian? I can't even. Yeah, Chloe. Yeah, there she's there with her stuff. Here is Leonardo DiCaprio with everything pulled down. It could be anyone really with a photograph like that. And Chloe and Kim. Then what's that? Kylie. No, that's Kylie, and that's what Kendall, I think, the model. And then there's the mother there. Oh, looking very stylish, I must say, with her partner. Oprah again. So anyway, it's all, oh gosh, here we are. Well, I think the standard dropped a little bit there, Kim, bless, but I won't say any more about that. I don't want to body shame. Anyway, look, it's just basically a lot of pictures of the Kardashians and all of this kind of stuff. Let's see here. Anyway, whatever. Let's do the stop share there. Let's just read on the energy of this wedding. I've gone over a little bit. Like when we did the reading on Hogelish, he's doing it for the networking. I mean, look, they have an agreement. Remember, weddings aren't historically have never always been about love. Yeah, that's been quite a recent addition, to be honest. They are contracts, which is why you can see marriage via the 7th house, because the 7th house is contracts, and also anyone that's not us. It's the energy of this wedding, this marriage. Let's see, where is it going? What's this marriage really about? What's this marriage really about? If we see love cards, then maybe it is a love match, but let's see. This is really interesting. All right, Queen of Swords. So this means it's a saying. It deals with the mind. Like this is a card of rationale, of being a cool, calm, and collected. Yeah. So this is, and remember as well, I also associate the Queen and King of Swords with accounting. Yeah. So this is about money. This is about it's cool. It's a clinical decision. Yeah, there's no lovey-dovey cards here. This is a clinical decision. If we look here in the obstacle position, we got the poverty card. Now we know that they're rich, so Bezos is one of the richest men in the world. So this can't be literal. This must be more metaphorical. I think it's talking about maybe the poverty within the marriage itself, in the sense of it may not be as bountiful as people think. It's a big show and dance, but there's an element of poverty here, or being outcast, being out in the cold, or these aren't very kind of lovey-dovey cards. Do you know what I mean? If we look here, though, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. And, of course, the Queen of Pentacles can talk about people with women in particular with darker hair. So, of course, this has to be Sanchez, yeah? So this is the wife. I think she's doing it as well for her own security. Surprise, surprise. Maybe she was feeling like she was in the media. I think she used to be a journalist. So, oh, of course, it's about her. Swords is also about a communication, yeah, critique, yeah, stuff like that. She used to be a journalist. Look, she used to be a journalist. Maybe she still is. She wasn't earning that much money, and now she's gone in for the security, yeah. You can see it's right there. But things are going to move quickly. Yeah, this also can deal with flying. So they're obviously going to go on a honeymoon, aren't they? They're going to travel. They've taken over Venice and all that stuff. But look at the next card as the outcome. Look, here you got the wealthy benefactor and someone begging down here. So I don't know if it's for tax benefits or maybe this is how she feels in the marriage. There's probably a prenup. She may not get as much money as she was thinking if she divorces. That's how I'm seeing that. But in essence, she's got in there because she was feeling a sense of lack. But, he's a billionaire. But anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I hope you found that interesting. Oh, thank you, Tobiah, as well, for your kind donation. Much appreciated. Let's just see here. Just scroll down. Oh God, there's so many comments. Let's have a look. Someone says, Winnie Boo said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Trump turds went to the wedding too. ML saying she's going to be focused on philanthropy. That's why that came up. Well, isn't that interesting? Well, 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 which is why this card, philanthropy, giving to those who are less well off. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. Oh, so here we are. That's why that was coming up then. Ended up being about her. Fair enough. I hope she does it. I hope she does it. And then someone says, thank you, Hogarth, for being you. Much appreciated. And then what's this? Gloria, Ivanka and Jared Didi. And then someone said here, Azalea said, that would be nice if she does that. Yeah, it would be. If you're going to be that rich, you know, give it away. Give it away. You can't even spend the interest once it gets up to those levels, isn't it? So let's leave on that. Let's leave on that. Let's hope. Let's hope that she does do things for charity. I've got nothing against her. I mean, the wedding dress, like I said, looked like a lampshade, but you know, money doesn't necessarily buy taste, as we know. But if she's going to use those billions, you know, for charity and stuff, who are we to argue against that? I don't have any personal, I don't know anything about her really, to be honest. But at least that would be more of a positive, and the world needs it. So yeah. Anyway, I will leave it there. I will leave it there, and I will catch you all soon because it's 11 minutes past the hour. So big love, everyone. You'll see me obviously on my shows coming up next week, and I'll see you all soon. Right. Mwah! Bye-bye for now. Cheers. And don't forget to check out the website and the retreat. Yes, big love. Bye-bye.